Hey everybody, Candy here. My. Mm, mm. Hello everybody. I am Pandy of Pandy's Hair Candy and More. I am just getting home from work, y'all. Was listening to this trial at work today. Heard the verdict on my way driving home today. And I feel like a ball of emotions. Hey, Ada, Ada Inye Talk Show, welcome in. Welcome in. This is just an open opportunity for us to really talk about this breakdown on this verdict. And really, this is my live reaction to this case. I have been following this case extremely close. I have been kind of reporting on it throughout my trending recaps. And I'm going to be honest with you all. I'm actually shocked. I'm actually shocked with the outcome of the verdict. I really didn't even think I would see this. So come on into the room, everybody. Come on into the room. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. If we are already chat family, you already know what it is. Welcome into the room. Come on into the room. Oh my God. How are you, Ada? Oh, Ada. Yes, I'm connected with you. We're family. Welcome. Not sure if you are here in the US or not, but welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I see everybody's live talking about this. Everybody's throwing up videos. And I was a little bit late getting started because I was just in there listening to the attorneys talk outside of the court about the ruling, the verdict. It looks like Officer Chauvin was taken into immediate custody following the verdict. So, like I said, I was very shocked. I'm not even going to front. I am in the state of South Carolina. We just saw, what was it, last week? Was it Friday? Thursday or Friday? We just saw a United States military sergeant shove a young black man in his neighborhood as he walked. He held some profanities at the young man, told him what he would do with him. We also had Walter Scott, who, if it was not for the young man walking down the street with his cell phone and capturing that footage on videotape, that officer would have never even been arrested. So it's a lot going on. It's a lot of emotions. It's a lot of gratitude for the fact that in this particular case, it seems like justice is being served, but is justice being served? And what's next? Where do we go from here? Now that this verdict has been issued and surprisingly guilty on all counts, I'm extremely shocked. I can't say that I'm happy, but I'm at peace for the family. When I think about the George Floyd case, And my first impressions of the officer involved, I remember being at work, I want to say it was almost a year ago. And I remember getting all these alerts on my social media, on my news feeds of this officer kneeling on this man's neck. And I believe I was looking at Olivia the Oracle's YouTube channel as a fact. And when she was showing the video, I remember just like it was yesterday thinking, what in the world is happening here? I saw all the people surrounding the officer, yelling at him. The man can't breathe, yelling at him to get up off of him. And I just couldn't believe my eyes. Like, I seriously couldn't believe my eyes, what was happening. And the callous look in the officer's eyes as he was very nonchalant with his hands in his pockets on this man's neck. And I begin to think, I mean, if you got pressure being applied on your windpipe like that and you're on the ground already, you're pretty much in custody, you're going to kill this man. And I just remember watching it in shock and disbelief, thinking, this cannot be happening. I think about, what's his name? Philandro Castile. I believe that was in Missouri. Um, Riding with his girlfriend and their child and letting the officer know that he was licensed to carry and that there was a weapon in the car, and us seeing on live stream video this man being shot right in front of us. I mean, it's taken such a toll, and I don't get triggered by much. But I think being a mother of two young Black men in their 20s, the constant fear and anxiety that I carry around every day, just thinking, and the worry when I think about my sons traveling to and from home to work, from work to home, from work to the store, from home to the store and back. Are they going to be the next victim at the hands of law enforcement? I think about Trayvon Martin. I think about Sandra Bland. I think about Breonna Taylor. We all know that could have been me. That could have been you. This woman was at home in the privacy and safety of her home, in her bed. I don't know what to feel about this verdict, but I am glad that it does appear that people as a whole, and I'm not just going to say Black people, but people as a whole are coming to grips with, if it's right there in our face, if it's captured on film, there is no denying. Hey, Boss Life Online, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. I am just getting home from work, and I was listening to this case periodically throughout the day, and I will be honest, I don't know how long you've been here, Boss Life, but this mess got me feeling all kind of, because you just didn't know. You just didn't know which way this was going to go. And honestly, I didn't think justice was going to be served. We've gotten so desensitized that I just assumed it was going to be another situation, another tragic situation of an unarmed Black man being killed at the hands of law enforcement. So as I was driving in my car leaving from work, I was like, you know what? If yeah, you're right about that, boss life, because I believe them people would have tore Minnesota or Minneapolis or wherever they at, they was gonna tear that city up. I was just saying, I'm just like a ball of emotions, and I feel good. I can't even say I feel good. I feel content that this will provide some sense of closure for Mr. Floyd's family. And I would hope that this will serve, because this is my live reaction. I'm just giving my live reaction to the foolishness. But I would hope that this would serve as a what do they call it? Precedent to all law enforcement, that you just cannot take a person's life because you have a badge. When you have a person in custody and they are apprehended, you got them face down on the ground in custody with 4 or 5 of you there. You do not have the right to hop your whole body onto a person's neck for 9 minutes and kneel and look callously into the crowd with your hands in your pockets. You do not have that right. Who are you? Who are you? Yeah. Yeah. I just don't understand why no one intervened. I've been following this case. Some days I couldn't watch. Some days I couldn't film. Some days I didn't even want to cook dinner. I didn't even want to clean around the house because this this trial was going on and it was draining. It was an emotional roller coaster. And like I said earlier, we just had an incident here in South Carolina last week that was captured on video with a army sergeant going out to this young boy. The boy looked like he had to be in his late teens to early 20s. This big old muscle bound dude bucks up on the boy. The boy says he lives in the neighborhood. He's walking in the neighborhood. And I'm talking to my husband like, now, see, this is why I don't feel comfortable walking around here no more. This is why I don't drive after dark. I don't want to get pulled over because they're killing us. And it's no longer just men. I have 2 sons in their 20s, one of which is a father and a husband. And I worry about them. I worry every time they leave home if they're going to make it back. And my worry and my anxiety is not because I think, oh, they're going to get into an issue with, one of their peers. Yes, really, TT. How are you? Thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry if I'm ranting, y'all, but I am emotional as hell. I am emotional. I am upset. I'm glad. I'm just all over the place because I'm glad in the fact that justice was in fact served. But I want to know what's next. Like, are other officers going to look at this and think twice before they decide to kill the next unarmed black man? Are they going to think twice? All counts. Found guilty. I was going to be pissed the hell off if it would have went any other way. Yes. Really, TT, I have 2 black sons in their 20s. Ever since they've been in their teens, I get severe anxiety when they leave home, wondering and praying and hoping that they will make it back to their destination safely. And it's never a worry about a peer or a random act of violence. It's a fear, it's a phobia of them being pulled over or of them being harassed or racially profiled. I'm tired, and I think most black people are tired. We're tired. So I'm glad that this jury decided to do the right thing in this particular case. But this is one of many. This is one of many. But this one it sets precedent because this kicked it all off across the country. This is when people stood up. Thank you, Barry. Thank you so much for popping in. I understand. Y'all, this is just my live reaction. This is my live reaction because I have been covering the story in my trending recaps periodically here and there. I wanted to come and vent. I wanted to come and share. And I wanted to have an open, safe space where we could all vent and share and talk. And if anyone wants to come up and join me, and we good like that, I ain't talking about no random people up in here, and I ain't never seen you before because folks been porn bombing people's live streams. But if anybody would like to come up here and talk, let me know, and I will politely drop this link for you. I'm not going to be on here very long because I do have my Queen Sugar review. I just was like, I'm so happy they did the right thing, because how are you going to tell the whole country to unsee what we saw? How are you going to do it? You already told us to unsee it here in South Carolina with Walter Scott. If that young man wasn't walking down the street and have his cell phone out, Walter Scott would still be running around here in my city, free, probably willing and ready to do it all over again. Breonna Taylor, we saw what we saw. Philando Castile, we saw what we saw on live video. Ahmaud Arbery, Sandra Bland, it's too many. It is too many. When I tell you I am tired, this is so emotionally draining, so overwhelming. And who do we talk to? No one's trying to go out and protest. They're calling those protesters hate groups. I mean, there's really no safe way for us to vent and voice our concerns. The couple of times that I've provided updates on this story, because y'all know that's what I like to do. I like to bring about awareness to stories that I feel like are underexposed and talk about it. I've gotten negative comments. I don't give a damn. It is what it is. My eyes are not going to unsee what they saw. You know, I was just saying, y'all, I remember like yesterday. Oh my God, really, TT, that is crazy. Wow. I remember that story also. I remember being at work about this time last year and seeing all these alerts about George Floyd. And I remember seeing clips with the officer on his neck. And I just was like, I didn't understand what I was seeing at the time. I didn't think it was real. I thought, surely this is crazy because I cannot forget. Oh, my stomach is growling. I need to eat some food. I cannot unsee the callous look in the officer's eyes as he peered out to the angry mob forming around him with his hands in his pockets, kneeling on this man's neck, just sitting there, posted up like it was the place to be, and looking out into the crowd, just like, whatever, I dare any one of you to run up. And I cannot understand the other officers. Like, at some point, it was so powerful. I don't know if you all have been following the trial, but I've been following it, but a couple of days I had to back away from it because it was so emotionally draining. But today's testimony, when I heard that the 9-year-old young lady testified that the EMT that were on the scene were telling him to get up off the man's neck and he refused. There were other officers telling him to, fall back. And he clearly didn't, because we all saw what we saw. I was gonna lose it if the verdict did not go the way it did. And I'm just one person thousands of miles away. So I know them people was gonna tear that city up. And am I saying that's the right thing to do? Absolutely not. But Black folks is tired. We are tired. We are tired. All of us are not criminals. You have a large majority of Black people that are law-abiding citizens. I'm not here to argue whether George Floyd was or was not. I'm not here to defend whether he was or was not one who engaged in illicit narcotics or not. At the end of the day, he is the victim here. And that was bothering the hell out of me listening to that trial. You would have thought he was the one on trial rather than the victim, and the murdered victim at that. I don't understand why, when we fall victim to these type of crimes, why is our whole past brought into account? Why? When they started talking about his drug use for the day, then I heard them talking about the exhaust fumes from his face being down near the pipe of the vehicle, which it shouldn't have never been. I was just like, oh my God. They are trying to throw everything at this. But we all saw what we saw. You cannot unsee what you saw. And I don't care how many expert witnesses you bring up to try to talk about his drug use, his mental state, his willingness to resist arrest. It was about what, 5 or 6 cops on the scene? 5 or 6 cops on the scene. The man was apprehended. The man was in custody. He was on the ground, face down. And I've never in my life seen anything like that. I've never seen police use that type of hold for someone that they have in custody. This gives me the same tease as that man in New York who they said was selling illegal rolly cigarettes. I'm like, now you got to be some type of broke. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but you got to be some type of broke if your thought process is, for a hustle, I'm gonna go sell rollies. That's what we used to call them back when I was coming up. You gonna go sell rollies or loose cigarettes. You just trying to hustle for your family. That didn't warrant that man being put in a chokehold and killed. And then when a person is clearly telling you that they cannot breathe, when I watched this original video and I saw the man on George Floyd's neck, and I heard this grown man crying out for help and stating that he could not breathe, I immediately got emotional and I start thinking about my sons and my husband. When I heard this man crying out for his mother, I about lost it. Because this is a grown man. And, to be emasculated in such a fashion and in public, it was like, I don't know, I can't explain the thoughts that were running through my head, but it wasn't right. Nothing about it seemed right. Nothing about it seemed legal or humane. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And don't mistake glad for happy, because I'm not happy. I still feel a void. No amount of money that was issued to this family, no amount of time that Derek Chauvin gets is going to bring that man back. That is a life loss and a family affected. He was a father. He was a brother. He was a son. He was somebody's uncle. He was somebody's nephew. He was somebody's grandchild. So when you look at the branches on the family tree, that's a lot of people's lives that are going to be forever traumatically, viciously, and violently affected. I don't know this man personally, and I'm affected. I'm hurt. Hey, Georgia girl. Thank you so much for coming in. We're just kind of chatting about this verdict. Because I don't know if y'all are like me, but I needed to get this mess off my chest. I'm just, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that the 12 jurors here decided to do the right thing. Because too often, so often, we have become numb. We have become desensitized in these types of cases because it never works out. I still cannot believe that what's that man's name that killed Trayvon Martin? I don't even want to call out their names because I definitely don't want to shine. no light on him. Zimmerman. I cannot believe that that man is still walking around here free. I cannot believe it. And like I said, with Walter Scott here in South Carolina, if that young man had not have been quick on his feet and thinking, let me pull my phone out and let me start recording, that man wouldn't have been arrested. That officer would not have been arrested. We wouldn't have known nothing about it. And probably another person would have suffered at his hands. It's just like, I can't explain. I don't understand. The man that the man who stopped the young boy just last week in Columbia, South Carolina, shoved the boy, was out there cussing at the boy, telling him he better get the F out of his neighborhood or I mean, it was just crazy. I don't understand where the thought process comes from that people have rights and you do not have the right to jump up in somebody else's personal space and invade their personal space because of the color of your skin or because you happen to be toting a badge. You just don't. I pray every time I leave my house because I'm like, let me make sure my tail light's not busted. Let me make sure my tags is good. You know, I'm one that I like to get in my car and hit corners and be in the mix. Sometimes I ain't even got to have a destination. I'm a joyrider. Especially here, we got beautiful palm trees and beautiful beaches, but I been fell back from doing that because I'm scared to death of getting pulled over by one of these trigger happy police. Now, I don't want to clump all of them together because I'm pretty sure all police ain't the same. And I'm a critical thinker. I don't lump them all into the same category, but I will say my anxiety and stress level is to the point where as soon as it start getting dark, I'm heading back to the house. If I'm not with my husband or I'm not with a family member or a friend, I don't ride around after dark by myself. I used to do it all the time, but I don't do it anymore. And even being in my home sometimes, especially if my husband is out kicking it with the fellas, I'm in here just paranoid at every noise because I think about Breonna Taylor. That young lady was at home, not bothering no one, in her bed, and she's gone now at the hands of police. People who take an oath to protect and serve. Why are we starting to see this uprising of people who are supposed to protect and serve and uphold the law, killing people that look like me or you practically every other day? We see a blurb of it in the news. If people like myself and larger media outlets don't come onto their platforms and talk about it, half the time you don't even know about it. You don't even know it happened because it's just a blurb and then you don't hear nothing else about it. Meanwhile, those people's family members have to think about that for the rest of their lives and be negatively affected and traumatized and sad. And I heard people talking about, oh, They ain't gonna find that boy guilty. They done gave that family the money. The money? The hell with the money? What can the money do? The money is a given. Just off a GP, give them some sense of closure. Allow them to bury their loved one. Allow them to kind of ease whatever circumstances or situations they may be going through with that money. But at the end of the day, that money don't mean nothing. That money cannot bring that person back. So I'm telling you, when I say I've been a ball of emotions just looking at this case, I'm so at peace with the fact that the jurors in this particular case decided to do the right thing. And I really hope that law enforcement officers all over the US, if you decided to take an oath and you decided to serve and protect and you swore that, and you have anger issues or you trigger happy, that you think twice. Think twice. Because we are tired. We are tired. It don't make no sense. And I don't think people are going to stand for it too much longer. You got some rogue people that are out here like, listen, if this person don't get the justice to prevail in this case, people was ready to light that city up. And I'm not one that would come on and condone it. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here in front and act like I wouldn't understand it if they did. So that's why I say I'm grateful and I'm at peace that it looks like they decided to do the right thing. When I woke up this morning and I was getting ready to go to work, I was listening to the news and I heard them saying something about Congresswoman Maxine Waters out of California made some sort of statement yesterday about hoping that they were, that they would find him guilty, and how the judge gave explicit instructions on how that could cause any guilty verdict to be thrown out. And I'm like, oh my God, they haven't even had the trial. A verdict has not even been issued, and you already telling these people how the hell they can get out of it. Like, come on now. People that look like me, Black men and women all over the world, for hundreds of years, we came over here. We didn't come willingly. We didn't come willingly. But we adapted and we adjusted and we did what we had to do. My forefathers, my family, they were sharecroppers. They worked. They were enslaved people. Then down the line, they became free. But have we ever been free? Are we free now? Because I'm tired of worrying about every time I get in my car, if I see the police in my rear view, what's going to happen if they pull me over? And even more, just a ball of wits and nerves when I think about my sons. My youngest son, I got to think of his age, Lord. My youngest son is 24. And he went back to our home state. He didn't like it in the South. And he's grown. So, of course, he can go on. But he was telling me about a situation where he was walking to the store on his lunch break. It's about 2 years ago. And the police threw the blue lights on him as he was walking. Now he got a car, but the gas station is right here, so he's walking to go get a snack. And because he works in a, what do you call that? Um like a Silicon Valley type area where it's nothing but Microsoft, Amazon, a bunch of warehouses and whatnot. And it's in a affluent neighborhood of predominantly white residents. I guess he seemed out of place. My young son is about 6'4", about 150 pounds, a tall, lanky, skinny kid. He ain't no thug. He at his job. He is at his job. He ain't selling no drugs. He ain't hanging on the corner. He ain't loitering. He's on his lunch break, going to get him something to eat. The officers harassed him. They wanted his name. They put him on the car. They ran his name. They searched him. And he was infuriated. He felt degraded. He felt humiliated. And as I talked to him on the phone, tears just began streaming down my eyes because what mother wants their son to even experience something like that? The only difference with me is my son is still here for now. I can still talk to him. I can still hug him. I can still spend time with him. But the hurt, I know he will never be the same after that incident. He has a hate towards the police now. And can we blame him? I didn't know what to say. I was so shook that it even happened, and he was trying to be like, you can't do this, you don't have no right to do that. I work right over here, I got my badge on, and I'm like all worried and paranoid, like, son, you just don't argue with them, just stay out their way. And he's like, no, but he had no right. And what he was saying was right. But it's to the point where you can't even really speak up for yourself because you might mess around and become a casualty. I don't know, y'all. I'm tired. I'm tired. Yeah, I don't either. I don't either. And honestly, I try to be a fair person because I know there are some good officers that really took the oath and they take it seriously, and their desire is to make a difference. Like here in Charleston, South Carolina, they have a black police chief, and he grew up in North Charleston, which is the hood. And he's always in the community. He's always going to the little festivals and out there throwing the football around with the kids. I mean, you can everybody loves him because they know him. They done went to school with him, grew up with him. You have good officers. When I lived in Seattle, one of my son's classmates, single mother, her two sons played football with my sons. She was on the force. She would come pull up to the practice in her squad car. She would bring snacks to the practice. So there are good officers who are there to try to be an instrument of change. Hey, T History, thank you so much for coming in. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm all sounding all whiny and stuff. But yeah, that situation with my son almost took me out because I'm like, oh my God. First of all, he didn't tell me right away. And when he told me, I was so hurt that he had even experienced that. And then my older son, child, my older son, I'm just so glad he is settled down. I'm so glad he has settled down and got married. He got 2 kids now, but child, when he was younger, he kept my nerves bad because he didn't give a F. Okay? You have a bad one and you got a good one. My oldest one definitely gave me a run for my money. Oh, it is so scary. It is so scary. I have 2 sons and a daughter. My daughter is the baby. I'd be scared for her too. Because look at Sandra Bland. Look at Breonna Taylor. Look at, I mean, what was that? What was that lady's name? Something Gillian or something like that. She so called allegedly walked into the wrong apartment and she thought it was her apartment, but it was a completely different level. And she ended up shooting the guy. I mean, just all these weird cases. I'm just tired of us and people who look like us. Every day I turn on the news when I'm getting up to go to work in the morning, it's another unarmed black person that done been shot. The Ahmaud Arbery case that happened in Brunswick, Georgia. Me and my husband drive to Brunswick, Georgia all the time to go gamble on the boat. We ain't been back because I'm like, well, we must not be welcome in that neck of the woods. And I've been living in the South where my family's originally from the South, but I'm born and raised in Washington State. So I'm used to being around diverse groups of people, and down South is completely different. Child, they roll past with the big Confederate flags on the back of their cars. And yeah, Geiger. Yes. Not all white people, not all white people are that way. But the very distinct difference that I noticed is, I guess in Seattle, it was on the low. And here in the South, they like blatant with it in your face. And what you gonna do about it? So, you know, yeah, man. Sick of these videos, right? It is redundant. That's why after the first couple of videos, I was like, I'm not gonna keep making videos reporting on the facts in this trial because honestly, as I watched the trial for the first couple of days, it was so emotionally draining and so heartbreaking just to hear the facts surrounding the case. I was like, man, I'm not finna go to my channel with this. This is too negative. And I try to pride myself on keeping it positive over here, keeping it fun and upbeat. But at the end of the day, I do like to bring about awareness because I feel like our stories and our issues and our concerns, they don't get the awareness. They don't get the shine. You know, there's so much stuff that happens. And I'm like, I ain't seen that on the news. You know where I find out about it? I find out about it on social media. There's been several times when I've done a live stream premiere on my trending recaps and talked about different crimes and injustices that have happened towards black people. And people are in my chat going, oh my God, Pandy, I didn't know nothing about that when that happened. And it'd be like, so we do have to kind of each one teach one. But at the same time, I feel you, T History, it's overbearing and it's too much. It's dark. And it is becoming, it's becoming like to the point where we're desensitized, we don't get outraged. It's almost a normal daily occurrence that we're getting slaughtered out in these streets. And it's like, raise awareness for what? They're going to get off. They're not going to do a day of time. You know, we just going to be sad, and I guess we supposed to wipe our tears and keep going. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Mm. I'm glad you guys came through. Thank you guys so much for listening to me. Let me rant. I was at work, so I couldn't really react. And I'm glad I was there because I would probably been all stressed out. But as I was driving home, I was like, oh my God, if I'm feeling this way, just even waiting for the judge to read off the verdict, the results, I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, if this is not done right, being that we saw what the hell we saw, you can't tell us we didn't see what we saw. And whether we are experts or whether we're just regular people, we know that wasn't right. So something had to be done. And I'm so glad. Exactly. I think they said it's going to be, the sentencing is going to be in 8 weeks. So about 2 months. And they better keep old boy in protective custody and out of the general population, because he might get his tail lit up. Yeah, I'm not going to stress myself. I'm not going to stress myself. I feel much better. I feel so much better now just even coming on and talking and getting it out. I feel so much better. It's like a weight lifted. Like I said, I have no personal ties to George Floyd or this case, but I feel like what has tied me to it is I'm a black woman. I'm a mother of two young black men. I'm a wife of a black man. You know, the incidents that have happened with my husband here in the South, and see, the people that are born and raised in the South, they have a different approach. They're so used to these people and their ways, they kind of just be like, man, whatever. I'm not going to be a man, whatever. So I might get popped. I might get in trouble. But I've learned to just give it up to the Most High, and, let him fight my battles. Zip this tongue because it can be slick, and just try to stay out the way. Stay out the way. I have never thought that I would ever, at 46 years old, be nervous about the police getting behind me. Now, when I was 15, 16, driving, I used to be like, uh-oh, the popos, But it's like, okay, I'm fully licensed and insured. It's just crazy. Y'all also think this was so triggering because Dylan Roof, the Emmanuel AME shooter. One Meek. Thank you. Hope you don't deal with a Floyd customer today. I don't know what that means, so I'm gonna let that ride and stay. But thank you. Um, I'm still trying to recuperate from that. When I think about how church should be one of the safest places, not only just church, but Bible study. You go to Bible study to try to get a better understanding. Oh, really? See, what you ain't gonna do is come up in here with that F ish. That's what you ain't gonna do. We got an idiot trying to come in here and troll. Got him. Baby, I'm the troll patrol. You ain't gonna change nothing. But yeah, when that idiot went up in there where the people was trying to have Bible study and get a better understanding and welcome him in with open arms. What he did, that inevitable act, I'm just tired. I'm just tired. This idiot. People are ridiculous. I'm trying to keep it cute. Okay? I'm trying to keep it cute. Cause y'all don't know Pandy's mouth. So I'm trying to keep it cute, y'all. But since the people are starting to come and decide they want to show their tails, and I really don't want y'all to see me get all outside of my character from having to really give somebody the facts of their life, I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a close. Thank you guys so much for being here and allowing me to vent, get some stuff off my chest. I really appreciate that. And y'all stay safe, stay encouraged, continue to hold the family of George Floyd up in prayer. No amount of money, no amount of time that man could ever possibly serve is going to change the fact that their loved one is gone. Thank you, Gio. Love you too. Thank you, really, TT. Thank you guys so much for being here, y'all. I need to go chill out. I'm about to go chill out, y'all. I got to come back live in a little bit, do my review. So, y'all be blessed, stay safe, stay encouraged, y'all. Until next time, I will see y'all in the next one. I just really wanted to get those feelings off me. And I do feel better. It feels like a burden has been lifted. Yeah, you know I had a glass. You knew that. But all of a sudden, folks want to drop up in here with the foo la la. All right, y'all. I'm Pandy. Pandy's Hair Candy and More. If you did not remember to do so, please go ahead and thumbs up this video for me. I would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, I will see you all in the next video. Have a good night. Thank you all so much for coming through and kicking it with your girl. I hope that you guys enjoyed yourself. And if you have not already, don't forget to blow dry on my like button. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? It is free 99 after all. Make sure you double tap on that notification bell so that you are notified each and every time I go live over here and when new content is added to the channel. Until next time, stay safe, everybody. Stay encouraged.
And I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.